Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's weekly setup social. I am Malika for those of you who have never had a social with me before. And I'm so excited for you all to join me on this fabulous Sunday. I cannot believe we're nearing the end of July. I was just talking with Jen and before this, and we were just talking about how this month just flew by. So we're already moving closer and closer to August, which is exciting. But before we begin our social, if there's anyone who's new, welcome to today's social. We will be chatting with each other in the chat box and make sure to set your chat to everyone. Sometimes it defaults to hosts and panelists, so do a double check. Make sure it's toggled to everyone. And the chat goes fast in these socials. We have a pretty big group typically that comes in. So make sure to check it out. All the great ideas are in there as well. So make sure to check that out. And then as before we get started, I'm also joined by the fabulous Jennifer O, who is popping in the chat. She is going to answer any questions you might have, and just kind of help me along throughout the social. So make sure to say hello to Jennifer O. And with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So, just as a reminder of the community guidelines, make sure to be kind and courteous to yourself and others. This isn't a place for promotions or spam. Make sure to respect everyone's privacy, no hate speech or bullying. And then any product and accessory questions or customer care inquiries can be sent to hello@silkandsonder.com. And then just remember that Sonder socials are a time for us to connect and really get the most out of our journal. So we get to get some ideas from each other. You'll see a lot of examples of how you can like repurpose sections, especially with these weekly setup socials. This is a great time to get creative with your weekly setup to best serve you, and make sure that you feel like you have like a productive, great start to your week. So I love these weekly setup socials. I think they're so fun. And yeah, so that is kind of the rundown on the guidelines. And then before we get started, I love to talk about this month's theme because we typically do our intro activity and have it relate to the theme. So for curiosity, I love this month's theme because it really is all about kind of fostering that curious nature. And I feel like as we grow up, we tend to kind of sometimes lose that element of curiosity. I think when you're younger, everything you tend to question because it's kind of your first experience navigating through life, especially when you're very young. And then as we go through our day to day, sometimes for folks who are just kind of in the corporate world or just a busy adult, it's sometimes the days blur together and it's hard to take a step back and do an inventory of what we're curious about. And I feel like when I am in kind of a city, which is where I live currently, I'm constantly feeling like, okay, I've been here for a couple years, but I'm still curious about XYZ. And I try to do my best to make sure I carve out time to explore because that's something that makes me happy. So I really love curiosity. I feel like it's a fun theme for this month. And I think I love this. I'm just going to paraphrase from the letter from Meha on page 2. And I love the way she describes that curiosity is like a secret garden we hold within ourselves, waiting to be watered and expanded. Curiosity brings all kinds of diversity in thought and perspective, colors and textures, much like plants in a garden. So I love that kind of metaphor of how curiosity is kind of like a garden. So yeah, keep that all in mind as we go into our mind map. And with that, I will walk us through the agenda. So we'll start off with the curiosity mind map. Then we'll move into Rosebud Thorn. And then we will move on to the weekly setup pages. So we will first start off with the curiosity mind map. And for folks who have not been to a weekly setup yet, in the month of July, we typically do a mind map for each weekly setup for each month. And we basically just focus on different focus areas of that theme. And this is going to be the last week of July. So we're going to focus on the week 4. But if you've like missed weeks 1 and 3 and you'd like to revisit, take a screen grab of the slide. You're welcome to revisit it after you kind of reflect on week 4. And for folks who have been to weekly setup socials, find your mind map and you can add to it for this activity. So yeah, so this is week 4. And I think you say this as epistemic curiosity is how I say it, but I could be butchering that. But basically on week 4, reflect on a topic or subject that you are deeply interested in learning more about. What sparked your initial interest in this topic? Describe a recent discovery or piece of information that fascinated you. How do you plan to continue exploring and expanding your knowledge in this area? So think about kind of something that you've researched lately, something that has sparked your curiosity. Is it something somebody said, maybe up something in conversation? Is there a different subject that you've been exploring lately? What is that for you? And try to think about kind of what you're researching. A great way to look at this. I mean, most of us do our research online these days. So if you want, like maybe going through your history and seeing, okay, what have I been searching on Google or what have I been kind of looking around for? And it doesn't have to be online. It could also be something you've been looking forward to exploring more in your neighborhood or in your city or in your town. What is something that you've been kind of involved in? I will personally share my like topic, the subject that I've been interested in lately. So lately I've been really interested in interior design, and I'm working with an interior design company, and we are starting a new project, and it's been really fun just kind of learning about that style of architecture and how we can play with design in the home, and going to the design center in San Francisco was really cool because I got to see all the fabrics and all the wallpaper, and there's just like such a plethora of things to choose from. It's just really fun to play and get creative. And it's been such a fun experience so far. And I'm really excited to get deeper with interior design and really like start a project from beginning to end. And it's been really fun. So that has been my kind of research topic that I've been spending a lot of free time learning more about. But I also feel like I'm learning just through reading. I also love reading nonfiction books. So I love learning about kind of productivity books and like networking and how that can lead to career progression, and all of that is kind of what I've been learning about lately. So, with that said, I will give you all a few minutes to self reflect, think about kind of what topics or subjects you've been interested in, and drop it in the chat. I already see some folks sharing, which is fantastic. So, yeah, take some time, think about what that is for you, and share with us. All right. Thank you all for sharing kind of what you've been researching. I see a lot of folks that have been reading a lot. Just interested in various topics. Olympics is always like a hot topic, especially at this time of the year. Just I just love this group. I feel like I feel so inspired by your curiosity. And I'm excited. Now I'm like adding to my list of things I want to research. So thanks for that. Now I'm gonna be on Google like all night. But with that said, let's all move on to our rosebud thorn. And this week's rosebud thorn will start on page 50. So turn to page 50 of your journal. And that should have the rosebud thorn space for oh here, let me change the slide really quickly. There we go. The rosebud thorn for this week. And just as a reminder, a rose is, a highlight, something that's going well, something that you're grateful for. Your bud is a new and emerging opportunity, something on the horizon. And your thorn is something that's been a challenge or something that you've been struggling with. I will start. So let's see. My rose this week is probably just being in San Francisco. I feel like I've been traveling quite a bit. It's been really nice to just have this week being back and feeling like I'm not like hopping on a plane every 5 seconds or traveling. And as fun as it is to travel on the weekends and just hang out with friends or family, it's nice to just kind of have that time alone and really just focus on me and kind of what I need to get done. So that's been nice. My bud is my best friend is getting married, and we have our bachelorette this upcoming weekend. So the travel still continues, but it'll be really fun to kind of go to San Diego. I'm really excited to just kind of just have so much fun with her and celebrating her. And then my thorn is a challenge. So let's see. My challenge is I feel like the just the job like the job market has been tough, and it's been really hard to kind of really just apply to a ton of things and not really hear back sometimes, or things don't really go my way, but that's part of the search. So just kind of struggling with that, but that is just part of life. So with that being said, I'll give you all a few minutes to reflect on your rosebud thorns and share with us in the chat your something that's going well, an emerging opportunity, and a challenge that you're facing. All right. Thank you all for sharing your rosebud thorn. I think it's a good reminder that our thorns help us identify maybe what we need to pay a little bit more attention to and making sure that we can address those challenges. And life is not always roses, right? And I feel like it's important to take inventory of what's going well, what's maybe not going so well so that we kind of have a sense of what we need to focus on with our week ahead. And with that being said, now we get to actually do our weekly setup pages, which is what we all came here for. So, for this week, turn the page to page 52, and we will get started on that first box at the top. This week, I want to feel. So, for this section, you can definitely choose a phrase, a word, whatever it is that's calling to you. Try to think about what that intention is you want to set for your week. So here are some example words. But once you have that word, go ahead and drop it in the chat. I want you to set that intention, share it with us, tell us what that word is for you. This week, I want to feel fierce, restored, open, um, what else? Control, present, healthy, alive, free, confident, hopeful, and strong, motivated, accomplished, engaged, empowered, satisfied, happy, just happy. I love it. Yeah, there's like no like perfect way to feel. Obviously we want to feel like multiple things, but what's like that one word, what's that one phrase that you really want to feel? These are great intentions. Triumphant, I love it. Prepared, productive, cheerful, I love it. These are such fantastic intentions for the week. So with that, we're going to move on to the next section, which is the weekly major three goals. So for these three goals, you can set it up a couple different ways. They can obviously be any three goals that are top of mind that you really want to make sure you sort out. They can also be goals that maybe you had on your last week's pages that didn't get done. You want to make sure that they are here now. So you can do that. Maybe it's something to match the way you want to feel. Maybe you want to set these three goals that kind of connect with your weekly intention of how you want to feel. So think about kind of what those three goals are for you, and you can kind of set it up accordingly. So I'll give you all some time to identify your three major goals, and then we will regroup for the weekly to do section next. All right. Well, now move on to the weekly to do section. So, for this section, I'll walk you through a few different ways you can use this Eisenhower matrix, which essentially prioritizes your to do list and helps you decide what's urgent and what's important. And it helps you kind of figure out what you need to do, what decisions you need to make, what you can delegate, and what you can delete or remove any distractions that are not serving you. So that is a great way to use the to do section. Of course, it could be just a bulleted list of your to dos, which it often is for me. You can also categorize it based on like different areas. Just because I am in a phase where there's just like a lot going on with like my personal life, with just like my all my hobbies and just things I would need to get done. I like to separate it out by category. It really helps me kind of compartmentalize and figure out what I need to do next. So that's always nice. So you can definitely do it that way. There's also this need, want, hope to do list. So for this, you can definitely think about kind of maybe you don't have a lot of to dos this week, but you have a lot of things that are on your mind that you want to do. Maybe you're feeling like you want to be a little bit more of a dreamer this week. So, almost like a wish list. So, you can definitely set it up that way as well. And then you can see some examples on the right. Maybe you want to put your morning and evening routine. Maybe you really want to set that up for the week. So you can definitely do that. I love this bingo board to make it more fun. You can always put a sticker or cross it off with a marker. So that's always a fun way to do a to-do list. And then I know a fan favorite at a lot of Silk and Sonder people love the ta-da list. So to-dos are essentially things that you mark down. And then your to-da list is really just kind of anything that was a challenging task that you got done, and giving yourself that recognition and writing that down in your to-do space. So it's essentially kind of like that gold star effect where when you were little, you did something challenging and you got that gold star by your name. So that's kind of like the same concept for the to-do list. So there's a lot of different ways you can set this up. I'll give you all some time to write out your to-dos, and then we'll regroup for the habit and activity section next. All right. We'll now move on to the habit and activity section. So below, we will kind of walk through how to set this up. So for this one, you can really set it up a couple different ways. I love these examples here because they really kind of are very different from one another. So you can really take it however you'd like to. Just remember that these habits and activities, they can be anything. So I love this example in the upper right. They wanted to kind of have almost like a checklist of things to do in the evening time. So I feel like that's a great way to kind of take a evening routine and make sure it's like a habit. So that's a fun way to set this up. Another way I love this example in the middle where they didn't just cross off the section, they actually put in some metrics. So they were measuring their weight, so they put in like their weight each day when they did a weigh-in. They color coded it based on kind of the trends of like, oh, did it increase, did it decrease, did it stay the same? I love the like fruit and veggie, like all those pie graphs where they're kind of monitoring their fruit and veggie intake and then their alcohol intake. I just feel like that's a creative way of using those circles. And then you'll see my examples on the bottom. Those are typically mine. Sometimes I usually don't put in the goal, but sometimes I feel like I'm really on my A game and I want to put that goal in. So sometimes I put the goal. And just remember that, it's okay that not every circle gets filled out. The purpose of this is really to just do your very best and show up for yourself as much as you can. But it's not necessary to fill every circle. I feel like it's important to remember that we need to give ourselves some grace. So keep that in mind as you go throughout your week and are choosing habits that you feel like you can actually accomplish. But also remember not to beat yourself up if you didn't do it every day. So, with that being said, I'll give you all some time to write out some habits. And yes, Jen said it's okay to put some of the habits on your monthly tracker in here. Of course, it's totally fine to swap some. Maybe you want to keep the habits that you had from last week onto this week. Maybe you'd like to try some new habits. Maybe there's some things that you want to do this week and switch it up. Totally up to you. And yeah, you can really get creative with it. So I'll give you all some time and then we'll move on to the meal plan next.
Walk on by, walk on by, walk on by, walk on by.
Sorry about that. All right. We'll now move on to the meal plan section. So, on that next page, this is a section that gets heavily repurposed. So, I'm going to walk you through a few different ways that folks have set this up. Of course, you can use this section as a meal plan. So, you can either use this as a food log, or if you are a chef and you want to plan out your week and your meals for the week, go ahead and write out your meal plan. But this is a section that can often be repurposed. So a lot of people will use this space for daily affirmations, which are given to us in the app, in the Silicon Sonder app, or you can obviously put in your own. This is also a place sometimes where I put my nightly reflections, is what I call it. It's basically like a sentence of a recap of how my day went, and just taking kind of that time to just reflect on my day. You can also use this section as a place where you reflect on the 7 types of rest. Maybe you really want to invest in your self care this week and making sure you're hitting all those different areas of rest. I love this option of taking a daunting chore like cleaning and making it zone by zone. So, for example, something I avoid at all costs is cleaning my closet. My closet is bursting and it is just so daunting because I just like, I hate parting with clothes. I also feel like, oh, I might need that, or I might fit into that, or, I still don't want to throw that away, even though I never wear this. So I need to put my clothing, kind of my closet cleaning into a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday situation where I focus on maybe just the dresses, just the sweaters, so that it feels like I'm making some progress because otherwise I never will. So that's something I might do this week. And then I love this option of the kind of like a wardrobe kind of plan where maybe you have to go for work or you're traveling and you want to look extra stylish, just putting in that kind of plan for your outfits. And then appointments. I think this is a great place to put in appointments. Maybe you have a lot of doctor's appointments or just appointments in general, or events to look forward to. Put that in here. I feel like this is a great place to make it front and center. So yeah, so those are a couple different options you can do for the meal plan. So I'll give you all some time and then we will review the mind body health plan and the shopping list next. right. We'll now move on to the mind body health plan and the shopping list. So, for the mind body health plan, it's really that self care plan that's going to help you feel recharged at the end of or at the beginning and the end of the day. So maybe we get really busy with our weekdays. I know that. So thinking about kind of what's that treat you're looking forward to. I call it like that little like little self-care like treat for yourself. So maybe it's like you want to take a long shower, or maybe you want to try a face mask one night, or maybe you want to light a candle and snuggle up with a book. Maybe you want to cook yourself a home cooked meal. Maybe you want to do your nails. Think about kind of what that little treat is for you. This can also be like if you really want to get into like your physical wellness, maybe it's those workout classes or that workout routine, your workout schedule. That's a great place to put this as well. So there's definitely a few ways that you can take this. Think of it as like your self care kind of routine. And then for the shopping list, this is really a blank box. So if you have a lot of things that you need to purchase, go ahead and put that in here, whether it's a grocery list, whether it's an Amazon list, whether it's like a shopping list of things you just need. Go ahead and put that in there. But you can also repurpose the section. So you can definitely put an inspirational quote. Maybe you want to put a bingo board in here. Maybe you want to kind of focus on what those intentions are for the week. Maybe you want to, I love this concept of like a calm scale. I think that's really fun where it's almost like a chart of how calm they felt day to day. So that's a great way to repurpose the section. There's so many different ways you can use this section. It's really a blank box. So really have fun with it and get creative. There's no right way to use this section. So I'll give you all some time to set up your mind body health plan and your shopping list. And then we'll regroup in a few minutes for the last little section remaining, which is the I am loving section before we wrap up the social. All right, we are nearing the end of our social. So we have one little box remaining. So I want you all to maybe roll your shoulders back, get comfortable, and wherever you're sitting, and really think about what you're loving. So think about what that is for you. We started off with our rosebud thorn. And once you figure out what you're loving, go ahead and write it down, write it in the chat. I love when you guys share. I feel like, oh, Jennifer said she's loving the Olympics and those female athletes. Yes. I feel like it's just so inspirational. I mean, I'm not an athlete by any means, but I get so inspired by the female athletes. I totally understand that. And I also feel like there's so much that I'm loving in my life. I feel like I really enjoying kind of the cooler days. It's been really hot in the summertime, and I think it's been so nice to have a little bit of like cooler days here in San Francisco. It's been kind of refreshing when it's just so hot and humid. Sometimes we get exhausted, so I've been really loving that. And let's see what other folks are saying. Amazing. Being my own boss and not having to ask anyone for time off. I love that for you, Nikki. Loving time to slow down and make plans. And oh, I love this. Fun time with family events this weekend. Going to the garden and picking dinner. So this is all so fabulous. Thank you all so much for sharing with us in the chat. It was such a fun chat. It was such a fun hour spent together. And make sure to share your weekly pages. As you saw throughout the social, I get inspiration from all of you, and I put those fabulous pages in my slides because I get really inspired by all of your work. So make sure to share with us in the inspiration section of the app. That's where we look at that. And then also make sure to take advantage of our referral program that's going on. If you love Silk and Sonder and you have a friend or a person in your life that would really benefit from journaling, definitely take advantage of that referral program for a discount. And then also, we have that annual subscription. So if you're not on the annual subscription, make sure to take a peek because you could save and get a ton of, I think, just a lot more just discounted from like a monthly basis. So take advantage of that annual subscription if you're not already a part of that. And then also make sure to send us your feedback in that survey. So go ahead and check that out. Let us know what you want to hear more of, what you want to see at the next social. This programming is really for you all. So make sure to let us know what you would like to see. And then also, Jen is sharing that YouTube link, which has all of kind of our past socials. So make sure to check that out as well. And then also, here is the link to my playlist. Let me go ahead and share that with you all. Copy link and paste. And then, yes, Jen is sharing our August stickers. Make sure to take advantage of those stickers. They all correspond to the month. They're really fun. So make sure to check out the sticker bundles. And also there's the Elevate Planner, which is really fun. I use it a lot and it's so nice to use to just kind of reflect on like the past, present, and the future. So make sure to check that out if you're interested. There's a lot of fun products that Silk and Sonder have been launching. So take a peek, see if you're interested, and go ahead and explore. So, with that being said, thank you so much for this time. And I am so excited to see you at my next social. So, have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you at the next time. Bye.